Hey Hanlin, this is David Olkavetsky with Artisan Revere. Thank you very much for your order. My team and I really appreciate it. I tried to reach out a couple times, haven't been able to get a hold of you. Just wanted to touch base on a couple things, but I'm going to be out of town for the next 2 weeks, so I made the executive decision to, made a couple different executive decisions. So number one, I'm giving you our fairly standard, slightly toothy edge. That's what we do for over 95% of our customers. The reason you want your edge to be a little bit toothier is because it's going to stay sharper longer. It's going to feel like it's cutting into things like tomatoes, where there's like soft skin for a bit longer. So basically the difference between a toothy edge and a highly refined edge is the refined edge minimizes oxidation for things like sushi. But that's, we really only do that type of edge for ideally like primarily sushi chefs. So these are your two knives right here. The other thing that I wanted to kind of alert you to, we have been out of stock for several months now of our brass pin version of the chef's knife. So all of our chef's knives right now have these really sweet black oxide coated hex screws. Our small petty knives still have the brass pins. That's the one difference just in terms of the hardware. The knife itself is exactly the same. I actually really love the new version that we did on the chef's knife in particular because there's a little bit of grip to it. So we now use a CNC milling process instead of a CNC routing process. So that gives you a little bit of extra grip on the handle, which I absolutely love. It's really only necessary on the chef's knife anyway. So this is your chef's knife. Let's jump into your inspection. So here we go. Beautiful. Okay, so this knife flies through magazine paper like it's not even there. Oh, a second, I just took these out of the leather sheaths, so let's just make sure. Perfect. Okay, small petty knife is wonderful as well. Again, sorry about that little snafu there. Like I said, just took it out of the leather sheaths, so there's often a little bit of residual leather on the edge, and that kind of like screws up the movement through magazine paper. Let's do the rest of the inspection. I'm going to check to make sure that the pins are nice and flush with the handle. They are. I'm checking the front of the handle to make sure it's nice and smooth. It is. We also want to have a little bit of positive stop right here at the corners right there. It's really, really nice. Checking to make sure that this area right here, it's called the choil, is nice and soft. So we spend a lot of time breaking the edges on it so it's nice and smooth for your fingers. Same thing for the spine. Perfect. I'm inspecting the edge grind to make sure it's nice and even. It is wonderful. And then I do a little double check of the edge against my fingernail just to make sure it's perfect, and that one is as well. I'm gonna do the exact same thing on the chef's knife. Really nice choil, really nice spine, really even edge grind. Even edge grind, let's run it through the fingernail, just to double check. Perfect, okay. So these two knives are as close to perfect as we can possibly make them. Just a couple quick pointers in terms of storage. If you're gonna store it in the leather sheath, that's 100% fine. Just make sure it's dry and clean and dry, excuse me. Moisture is the enemy of steel, and leather retains moisture. So you obviously wanna make sure that the knife is dry. You're gonna place the knife in like this little way right here that I'm doing, tip, and you're gonna hold it up against the spine of the knife, spine of the sheath, slide it in just like that. This is what it looks like kind of a little bit faster. So a couple quick additional tips. Make sure you match up the AR on the knife and the AR on the sheath. Two reasons for that. Number one, it creates some friction so the knife shouldn't fall out. Just in case you grab it by the leather sheath, I wouldn't, but you can. If you are going to, I would definitely hold it tight. The other part is that there is an extra piece of leather at the bottom of the sheath that's called a leather welt, and that prevents you from slicing through. Obviously, the blade edge is at the bottom. The extra piece of leather is at the bottom as well, and that again prevents you from slicing through. The other way that we recommend folks store their knives is against a magnet. I like to use more than knife blocks. Typically knife blocks retain moisture unless you obviously place the blade in perfectly dry and it can have mold, etc. So best way, place it on spine first, rotate it just like that to remove edge off, and then pull it off like that. Again, spine, rotate, edge, pull off. There is a little black booklet here. There's some additional information on the company, but most importantly for you, and for everybody, there's some pointers on knife care to make sure that your knife stays in perfect condition for the rest of its useful life. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I really appreciate it. Again, sorry about the delta between the pins. Tried to reach out. Unfortunately, we weren't able to connect. But again, makes no difference in terms of functionality. So I hope you love your new knives and really appreciate the order. Thank you.